So it takes great pleasure to introduce Linda Chauvain. Most of you may not realise that she's new. She's only recently joined in March of this year. Euro-BioImaging is the section lead for biomedical imaging, but already is sort of been had such an impact that we don't actually recognise she's so new. Scientifically, she's researched for atherosclerosis, contrast agents, pharmaceuticals, but then went into a role in Italy to bring together clinician scientists and students working together to develop a new MRI approach as a researcher to implement advanced imaging services. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the invitation to be here. I'm really pleased to discover global bioimaging, actually. Yeah. I'm a little bit small, but now you can see me. Thank you. So I'm really pleased here to present the biomedical imaging community that we have in Europe. And you already heard a lot about Euro-BioImaging, how we are organized. You heard a lot about the biological side, but we have also the strong biomedical side. So as already you know, I'm sure that since a long time, you know already in Europe, we have this research infrastructure dedicated to life sciences. And imaging is one of the key research infrastructure that has been defined to be developed and to offer all the services, facilitate the access to high advanced instrument for imaging for all the scientific community. So as you know, we are organized as a European community that some countries accepted to group and put in place their imaging facility to offer and make it easy to access to the technologies, but also to the expertise of their imaging facilities. And we have both different technologies that covers both sides, the biological sides, as you know, the microscopy words better than me, but also the biomedical side. And what is interesting here, we have some notes, some countries that are also mixed, and the microscopy and the biomedical field, which we can say including preclinical and medical imaging, they work together to offer the services. And this is where I would like to see global bioimaging also to work together with both imaging communities. So as you can see, we are distributed, we have nodes distributed in different European countries. So it means also different languages, but we are able to speak and to communicate each other quite easily. So we are offering all the imaging technologies that you can have all the scales. So from the biomolecular size to the cells, to the organs, to the animal level, but also in humans. And this is very key because this is what the target is there. We want to answer to the health, to support the health development, to increase our knowledge from the basic knowledge to apply it to the medical field, where here the challenges are pushing us to develop these imaging technologies. So we are connected. So of course, for the biomedical imaging side, we have the chance to have the most important imaging technologies that are available for both preclinical imaging, so it means small animals, or the common, let's say, animal models that you can have for basic research, but also the direct possibility to translate from the preclinical to the medical research, since we have also imaging centers dedicated to clinical research with the same imaging technologies. And this facilitates a lot the translation, because we are having almost the same technical language. And this is very key. And of course, we can screen from all the organs, and this is in vivo. So we have live response of what we can see from each organs, and we can answer to the main questions related to human disease. What is important here also, the imaging facilities offers the maximum, let's say, level of development, innovative development, to help to provide reliable data to the users. So the users, when it comes to these imaging facilities, they have a complete and a comprehensive service that help the users to exploit the imaging data, which is key to validate the study. So of course, what is the key in Euro-BioImaging is all the nodes, all the scientists that are involved in this imaging community that offer the expertise. And the expertise is quite large because they are coming from different disciplines and different level of knowledge, starting from human disease, animal models, but also the technical imaging side, of course, but also knowing how we can use imaging contrast agents from different imaging technologies and developing new imaging props also. We have these specific imaging facilities where they're more oriented on developing new molecular imaging probes to facilitate also some drug discovery or drug validation. Of course, we have all the image data and data analysis tools and the possibility to put and share all those data generated from these imaging technologies, which are also key, but also it is key to provide quantitative biomarkers, because when you talk with pharmaceutical companies, they want to have a number. The image is nice, but you need a quantitative parameter. And this is a very important key, let's say, activities that we need from our imaging centers, having tools that provide key values that explain what we see on the image. Because many times the image is very complex. We have different parameters that you have to consider, but you need one value that expresses what you want to see. So the imaging community that we have in Euro-BioImaging really cover all the, let's say, the imaging techniques, but also the imaging knowledge and expertise. And this is key. And what is important also from these imaging facilities is that they are also developing new tools, not only the techniques, but also methods in order to respond to the needs that we have from the clinics also. And I would like to show you one example here that is coming from the Italian notes, where they have been able to develop a non-invasive technique to measure the pH of the tissue without cutting the samples. So you have a live map of the pH inside the tumors here, for example, and they can use this quantitative value to evaluate drugs. And actually, the pharmaceutical company are really interested to use this biomarker to test their drugs and see if this could help them to validate the efficacy of the therapy, but also to determine how the disease also mechanism is working in life system. And what is very important here, they also developed this MRI test, which is a method that can be applied, translated into clinical scanners quite easily. And they also used, interestingly, they use this responsive contrast agent to the pH, which is a contrast agent already well known from 30 years maybe in clinical, they are already using it. So we are ready to translate to clinical application. And indeed, we have some imaging center where they are dedicated to clinical research. And they are also developing this kind of tools to measure also the metabolism inside the tissues. And this is another approach. Actually, they are showing you can also have an indication of the cell proliferation, but also on how what is the level of the energy of the cells. And actually both imaging centers are now working together to try to build a project around the metabolism in cancer and to offer this for studying the new drug developed by pharma companies. So this is an example where we try as Euro-BioImaging to put together the imaging centers to respond to one challenging question. So to access to this technology, as already you know, you go through the Euro-BioImaging, you can ask your questions and you have a support advice from these imaging centers, but also through Euro-BioImaging team, we can support you. But of course, the problem here many times is the access. There are some costs. How we can help the users to develop his project and use the imaging if he has some funding difficulties to pay and cover the costs. So one of the activities that Euro-BioImaging try to put in place is to support by providing some funds to cover some of the costs of the access to the imaging facility. And this first pilot that we just ran this year had really amazing success. We have been surprised to have a lot of applications and from everywhere, not only from Europe, but also from South America, for example, few from Africa. And this is a nice, we were really happy to see that there are really high interest to access to the imaging facilities. And so I invite everyone to visit our website because we have now new European project that supports the access to imaging facilities and with specific calls for specific topics like for infectious disease, and very soon we will have some topics for cancer. So you have to visit us and see sometimes what is happening. And thanks to Jan that remember to everyone that we are running also the virtual pub every Friday at 1 at European time, And you are all invited, of course, to follow because this is open to everyone and we wish to talk from the technologies, but also from applications and image data analysis. So it's quite wide and we will be happy to consider also to include some specific global bioimaging seminars. So it's really nice. And just want the last slides to advise that the next action that we have is in October 6th, we will have this user forum for fighting infectious disease, where we have two key speakers, one from the in vivo imaging side and one more from the microscopy imaging community, that they will show their experience in the infectious disease. And we will have some users that will show how the imaging facilities help them to solve their questions. So just we are in global bioimaging partner, of course, since a long time. I just wish to remind you after 4 o'clock, we will have our working group meeting together with Graham, where we would like to put in place some specific topics where the biomedical imaging community would like to develop further on. So everyone interested are welcome. Thank you so much.